Hello everybody and welcome to this installment of how to build your WordPress site in 3 hours or less. Today we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes of things and get WordPress installed. If you've been following along, you will have already purchased your domain name. You'll have your hosting account set up. You'll have your name server set to point your domain name at your hosting account, and you'll be a little bit familiar with your cPanel, the control panel of your hosting account. So let's get right into it. The first thing that we're going to do is collect the WordPress source files and upload them to our hosting account. How we're going to do that first is we'll click on the file manager within the cPanel. Now most of the time you're going to want to leave this option checked right here. You want the web root option checked for the file manager. I'm going to install this in a subdomain that I already have set up on this particular hosting account, so that's why I'll have this one checked down here. Normally you'll have this one checked. So we click this and click go. File manager page opens up and you'll see that we have nothing in here, just a single CGI folder. So the next thing that we need to do is actually go and get WordPress. I have a tab open to wordpress.org, and on their homepage are a couple big blue buttons says download WordPress. So you click on one of them, goes to the next page, click on the download WordPress button. Now this version may be different by the time that you see this or working with it, but the procedure's the same. Click the download button and save the file. And we're just going to do this. I already have downloaded it once. We'll just replace it. Once your file is downloaded, click back over to the file manager and we're going to upload the zip file, the complete zip file, into our hosting account folder. So you just go up and find the upload button, click it. Another window opens and you'll be able to browse for the file you want. Just a quick note here, there's a section down here that gives the permissions for the file. You don't need to worry about these. What they're set at by default is what you're going to want to leave them. So we'll browse for the file that we want, select it, click open, and the file is starting to upload. I think I am going to pause the video for a minute. My uploading seems to be running awfully slow today, so we'll hook back up when it gets done. Alright, our file's uploaded. Next step is to go back to the main file manager page. We'll just click the back link. Now you'll see that we have the WordPress zip file uploaded to our directory in our hosting account. Next thing to do is actually unzip the file, which is very easy in cPanel. You select the file, just click to select, go up to the buttons and click the extract button. This will give you an option if you want to extract it in a different area. It's already set to where you want it to be, so just click extract files. You'll see the results panel, close that, and we have to reload this page here. Now you'll see that our WordPress files are in a folder by itself named WordPress. The next step in the process is to get WordPress up and running and started on its own installation. So we're going to open a new tab and type in the domain name that you're working on, whatever your domain name is. Hit enter and you'll see the hosting account welcome screen. All this means is that there are no files in our hosting account folders that the web server recognizes as actual web pages. Now we need to get to WordPress in order to get it started working. You will recall that we unzip the files into the folder that's actually named WordPress. So that's where we're going to navigate to. So we go up to the domain name, hit a slash, and type in WordPress. Hit enter. Okay, you see this screen, and what it actually means is that we're actually talking to WordPress, and it's wanting to get going with the installation. What it's telling us first is that it needs to have a configuration file. Now you can do these manually and upload them through FTP or through the file manager. My philosophy is kind of why bother? This is the easiest way to do it, and it's all automatic. Just copy and paste and click some buttons. So here we go. Create the configuration file. The next screen, WordPress is telling us that it's going to need some information on our database, which we haven't set up yet. So that's going to be the next thing that we do. We will go ahead and just click through this screen, because the next screen is actually WordPress wanting to know the answers to some questions. First, it wants to know the database name, username, password, and the host. This is all easy, so let's go back over to our cPanel and actually create the database. I still have my cPanel tab open. We'll move down here and find the databases section. Now, cPanel is kind of like WordPress in a way, where you can create the databases in a complicated process if you know what you're doing. Actually, this is a little bit faster, but this is using the wizard is just as easy, so this is what we're going to use. So we click on the database wizard, and the first thing it wants to know is a database name. Now these names are not critical. Just use I usually just use some kind of variation on the domain name that the database is for, just so I can kind of keep track of them. So I'm just going to put in LTB theme, more or less, theme. Click next step. And cPanel is working on creating the database. Once it's created, it'll tell you that if it's successful, it added the database, and it'll give you the name. So the next thing that we want to do here real quick is to just copy this name, and we're going to switch back over to the WordPress tab and paste it in the database name field. We're just going to copy and paste these fields as they come up in our database creation process. That way we don't kind of lose track of where we are. So we've put the database name in. We'll go back to the cPanel. Now it wants to create a user, and here again I use pretty much just some sequence of letters that lets me know what the database is for. We're going to use the same LTB theme. Oh, one thing you might run into, like I just did, is the username can only be a certain number of characters, and it appears that it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, so you're limited there. But here again, these names are not critical, so take what it gives you, and don't worry about it. Next thing we need to do is enter a password. cPanel has an excellent password generator that we're going to use, so we just click on the generator button. A little window comes open with the password that it figured out for us. Highlight that and copy to our clipboard, because it tells us that we have to. I have copied this password in a safe place. Click the button, click use password. The generator will automatically pre-fill the fields for you so you don't have to copy and paste in there. So then we create the user. Alright, so once we have done that, cPanel tells us that it has created the user with a password. So we're going to transfer these over to our WordPress configuration screen. We already have the password copied in the clipboard, so we'll put that in right here. Paste that in, go back and get the username. Copy that. Put that in over here. And we'll go back to our database. We're back into the cPanel. So we're not quite finished here. We need to give the database user the privileges that it needs to run the database. This is security stuff. Just click the All Privileges button and click Next Step. Okay, so what cPanel is telling us here at step 4, it says that the user was added to the database, and when it tells you that, you're all done. So click Return Home button. Well, that's interesting. We'll go back over. So I don't think we're going to need back into the cPanel, so that's kind of inconsequential. I don't know why it did this. Anyhow, go back over to your installation tab where we're installing WordPress. So we've put in database name, a username, password. You're going to 99.9% of the time leave this at localhost. The next thing we're going to do before we finish the installation is change the WordPress database table prefix. Basically what this is just kind of a little security measure. Some of the hacker scripts have this WP underscore hardwired into their scripts. So we're just going to change that just as a security measure. So we'll just change it to, here again, just use a couple, 3 characters, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to use LTB and click the Submit button. When you're ready, click Run the install. And WordPress is going to do its thing. Now we get to actually the last final configuration page. WordPress wants to know in the beginning site title and things like that. You can always change these settings later. Put in your site name, whatever you're going to be. We're just going to put in Launch the Book Theme, since I'm creating this to administer our author theme. The next one is the username for the administrator. One thing you always want to do is not use admin as a username. So we just change the name and it gives us one more measure of security. How about, let's just use Alfie. Whoops, Alfie dash. There we go. Now, dream up a password. Mix your passwords up with, as it says here, at least 7 characters long. Use upper and lowercase numbers and letters, and you can also use symbols. So we're just going to dream up a password here and type it in again. And it wants to know your email address. When you're first installing WordPress, as you're building your site out, you're going to want to uncheck this Allow Search Engines to Index the Site. All that's doing is telling Google that your site's not ready for the real world yet, and to just kind of leave it alone for now. So we've filled in all the blanks. We're going to install WordPress. Click the button, let it do its thing. Once it's done installing, you'll be able to just go over and click the login button and log into your brand new dashboard. You will see the WordPress login screen. Put in your username that you used over there. Put in your password. I always click the remember me button. It just sets a cookie so that we don't have to log in all the time. Click the login button, and while we're waiting, as soon as we get done waiting, you will see, if all has gone well, the WordPress dashboard. And that's really all we have for this lesson. We've gotten WordPress installed, and we're ready to start uploading themes and content and all that kind of stuff, which we'll get to in later sessions. So, thanks for watching.